in this chapter on India and Indian Ocean region, I would like to spend some time on the geopolitics of Indian Ocean, and in fact how the various aspects or various players are placed in the Indian Ocean region and in the politics in this region. So this video is about that. It's a it's just to create an understanding about how things are placed in this region. So first of all, when we so the heading, the chapter is the geopolitics of Indian Ocean. In fact, the word geopolitics. So now let me just talk a bit about that word geopolitics itself. It is the analysis of the geographic influence, geo, earth, and the politics. So the analysis of the geographic influence on power relationship in international relations. So how geography is affecting the power relationship. So the analysis of the geographic influence. Analysis of the geographic influence. In fact, it's about the arguments about the political effect of geography, how geography is affecting the politics, particularly the climate, the topography, the arable land, the access to oceans. All these things ultimately matter a country's influence and strength in the international politics, or the geography plays a role in its its overall international politics. So that is what, in fact, this was given originally. The geopolitics word was originally coined by Swedish political scientist called Rudolf Jelen. Okay, this is coined by a Swedish political scientist called Rudolf Jelen in the beginning of the 20th century, and this term was widely used during the First World War, Second World War, and subsequently so in the contemporary international relations, geopolitics is used or almost loosely used for this. It's a geopolitics is the synonym of almost like international politics, the politics of based on the geography. Okay, that is what we are talking. So when it comes to Indian Ocean, now we are talking about the politics based on this location and climate and the spread and everything. So this is the third largest ocean. It was in the historic time during the British era. Indian Ocean was known as the British Lake, because Britain was the sole superpower, or rather the sole mistress of the entire oceans, and Indian Ocean was predominantly under the control of Britain. India was under the control of Britain, and the surrounding area, Malaysia, Singapore, and then all the islands in Indian Ocean region, South African, they had Kenya. You just imagine, almost every island and the literal state was under the control of Britain. That is why this Indian Ocean was called the British Lake, half an ocean, and it is also called the Sea of Agony, because a perpetual conflict here, frequent tension, a lot of big power rivalries also here, and it is one of the most disturbed oceans during the during the Cold War era, one of the most disturbed oceans, and 36 littoral countries, surrounding, and 11 hinterland states, 36 littoral and 11 hinterland states, all developing countries, and big powers always used to play game with them. So that naturally, because of too many states all developing, came out of colonization, so naturally, and the big power politics played a very crucial role in this region. Then another important point is, after the Second World War, most of the wars after Second World War took place in this region. The Arab-Israel war, the Iran-Iraq war, you can say the Iraq, the Kuwait war, the first Gulf war, we can say, the Indo-Pak, Sino-Indian, all post Second World War, most of the wars were held. Even please don't forget, the war against terror was fought here, Afghanistan, war against terror. Then The Islamic radicalization is here, the hub of the global terrorism is here, radicalization has taken place, Syria, ISIS, Syria, Iraq, all are in this region. But otherwise, if you look at the wealth, 75% of the world oil, 75, see, Iran is here, Gulf is here, okay, 75% of the world oil, half of the 40 strategic raw materials, half of the 40 strategic raw materials are finding its origin from this region. And you know, because of the population here, a huge market for the developed world, then strategically linking the strategic location. This is the geopolitics. The location of Indian Ocean is such that it connects east with the west. The manufacturing giants of Southeast Asia, the ASEAN countries, Japan, Korea, China, all their merchandise will have to go through this Indian Ocean region. There is a new Silk route, the trade route connecting east with the west, right from Bab el Mandeb to Malacca Strait. So it is passing through this region. So great trade route, strategic location, it's a major trade route. This is the, please remember, this is the new Silk Road. This is what even China is saying, their silk, the maritime Silk Road, that is what they are calling, the maritime Silk Road, ancient Silk Road. That means to purchase silk, Europeans used to travel to China. They used to walk along the land. Now the new Silk Road from China and Southeast Asia, all the manufactured goods are going to Europe through water, through Indian Ocean. That is why it is called New Silk Road. So, and not only this, most of the communal politics, I mean, one negative point I would like to add here, most of the communal politics of the world is around Indian Ocean region. Maximum religious fight, Hindu, Muslim, and Muslim versus our Buddhist. You can see in Sri Lanka, the ethnic warfare against, the ethnic war against the Tamils, the Sinhala versus Tamils, again religion is there, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, all religious fights are here. It's a very different world. I mean, the Indian Ocean region is a slightly strange world, we can say. You can see all sorts of issues. So, but resources are here, population is here, huge market and a huge human resource. Indian population, Indonesia, Malaysia, and entire African countries, right from Kenya to South Africa. So, also huge population, human resources here, material resource, oil resource, half of the 40 strategic minerals in the world are around the Indian Ocean region. So, this is how it is positioned. Now, if you look at a bit historically, during the colonial era, for almost 200 years, till 1950s, almost more than 200 years, this ocean was fully controlled by Britain. Britain was the sole mistress, sole controller of this region. But after the Second World War and the decolonization, in 1966, a big thing happened, 66 to 68, a balance of payment crisis in Britain. So, Britain had to reduce their expenditure and they decided to withdraw from Indian Ocean. So, till 1966, it was a peaceful ocean, not much of a disturbance, and it was under the control of Britain. But by 1966-68, because the balance of payment crisis in Britain decided to withdraw from Indian Ocean region, and that is how in 1966 Britain leased Diego Garcia to USA. He had a lease to USA. So that is how the US presence started coming. The US started expanding its presence. This is also the time of the Cold War era. So US was not alone. Now USSR showed its interest. USSR started expanding their presence in the region. Various facilities they started acquiring in Indian Ocean region. But after the collapse of the Soviet Union, China started occupying that space, and China wants to have its presence in this region. China started a string of pearls. surrounding India, developing facilities in the Indian Ocean region. China started expanding its footprints. China started investing heavily in Sri Lanka. They wanted to invest heavily in Maldives. And all along the African countries, Africa, China is far ahead of India. So, China is trying to match. Otherwise, US has an upper hand in Indian Ocean region right from the Diego Garcia's presence, and otherwise, China is trying to stand up against the US, or China would like to have its presence in Indian Ocean region, because the entire Chinese economy is dependent on the trade routes through Indian Ocean. Most important thing for China is China's, it is 80% of the oil requirement is imported by China, and most of this oil comes through Indian Ocean region, and it has to pass the Malacca Strait. It's a very narrow strait, and the US has, because of the withdrawal of the UK, US has good control over Indian Ocean region. So, in the post Cold War Indian Ocean region, one big issue is this trade route, and the Chinese desire to have a better control and better access to the Indian Ocean region, which naturally raises objection from US on one side and India on the other side. Naturally, now India's biggest thing is this ocean is named after India, even though we have no control over this ocean. This is the only ocean in the world which is named after a country, and we can be proud of that. But we have very little control over the ocean except our borders. Beyond our borders, we have no role, or we have no control, because we don't have that kind of a navy. So, if India is interested in having a better control and better say in the Indian Ocean region, India will have to develop a blue water navy. India will have to develop a blue water navy. Blue water navy means a navy which can travel far away from the coastline, and do things without much support from the surroundings. So, for that we need aircraft carriers, big frigate ships and all, which can fight. So, to convert that Indian navy in the blue water navy, it requires a lot of investment. A normal navy which can operate from the seashore, we call it a brown water navy. India wants to convert ourselves into a blue water navy. Then nuclear. So, one is this, what is the new geopolitics of the Indian Ocean, what are the new politics of the Indian Ocean region. Now, let me see that. So, one, China would like to increase its presence to protect their sea lane, their merchandise, their trade, and naturally US and India, because of the, especially after the Indo-US nuclear deal, we are coming together, we are moving closer. So, China is seeing the Indo-US nuclear deal and India's closer relationship with the USA as a threat to their strategic interest. So, there is a fight for the sea lane, that is number one. Number two, what we should always keep in mind is, this era, after especially the 21st century, the nuclear deterrent during this period, especially after the Cold War era, is becoming more sea based. The nuclear deterrent is becoming increasingly sea based, and all major economies are critically dependent on sea today. So, the nuclear deterrent and a submarine launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs, will play a very crucial role in any future war, because it is not about the intercontinental ballistic missile which is going to make the difference. Nowadays, countries are developing super silent submarines, and these submarines are nuclear submarines, and from these submarines they can launch ballistic missiles. So, it will have very less reaction time, and such missiles will be very difficult to detect also, and it will hit the target, and it can be really disastrous for the target country. So, we are saying that in future the nuclear deterrence will be increasingly sea based. All major economies are critically dependent on sea. Energy security is a very crucial thing, and for that again, since the oil is to be transported, next 20 years at least, oil is going to play a very crucial role in the economy. So, and the energy security is largely sea based. Now, because the oil has to reach your territory, India is also importing almost 80% of their oil requirement. Then China is importing almost 80% of the oil requirement. Even Japan requires almost 100% of the oil requirement through the ocean. So, oil it has to be transported. So, the energy security will play a very crucial role. And most importantly today in the 21st century, the war on terror, war against the what you call this radicalization of religion, especially Islamic religion, is is fought in the Indian Ocean region. War on terror is fought in the Indian Ocean region, and more American presence in this region. In the Indo-Pacific, they have recently named their fleet or other their the American presence in this region Indo-Pacific. Earlier it was Asia Pacific. Now they are giving more importance to Indian Ocean region, because Indian Ocean is going to play a larger role in the overall scheme of things. To counter China, Indian Ocean plays a very crucial role. And even China's Belt and Road Initiative's main route is through Indian Ocean region. When China, when they want to counter the American presence, their strategy is the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, or the Maritime Silk Road, which they called earlier. After 2016, they are calling it as BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. This BRI is main focus is the sea lanes through the Indian Ocean region. So, that is why China was trying to develop many ports and facilities, the string of pearls. I will be talking in the Sino-Indian relation, I will be talking about the string of pearls policy of China. So, there is an increasing relevance of Indian Ocean region, and in the process it is very clear that the sense of community, even though we are talking about an Indian Ocean region or RIM, IORA, Indian Ocean Rim Association, the sense of sense of community development, that process is in the infantry stage. Things are not moving the way we expected. Even though this IOR ARC was created in 1997, no major movement forward. So, the kind of community and all is not going to happen here, but geostrategically, geopolitically, this region, Indian Ocean region, is the most sensitive region of the world today, because of the resources here, because of the population, the kind of market we have, then the kind of trouble we have. The origin of all the terrorist activities are from this region. The origin of all radical Islamic activities or radicalization of Islam is also from here. China would like to have a presence in this region. India would like to resist that. The US wants to maintain its supremacy. So, if you look that way, this is the most happening place in the world, and most I will say it's a terrifying place also, because any time a spark can lead to lot of instability in the world. So, this is Indian Ocean region, and the geopolitics is the most happening thing in the world today, we can safely say.